Welcome, Andrew, Jacka. Welcome to the Africa-Asia Focus opportunities for both continents with the Asia Pacific to discuss what is going on in the spa and wellness industry. It's lovely to have you.
Thank you. Great to talk to you.
Great. So, Andrew, you know, we're in Africa here, we're very, very sort of connected to Asia in many ways. We have a lot of Asians here that are based in Africa and, you know, building products and vice versa, a lot of Africans that travel to Asia. So I just wanted to hear your sort of like ideas about what's going on in Asia to give our viewers here a broader view, on this. So can you start by giving me a brief sort of overview of what your organization does and when it was founded and the countries that it represents and the types of businesses who are members today?
Okay, all right, sure. Happy to answer these questions, right? The Asia Pacific Spa and Wellness Coalition, I know it's a mouthful. We've long discussed this, but we've agreed that it's such a mouthful, everybody will get used to saying APSWC and it'll roll off your tongue like that. So Great. The APSWC, it came about in 2006 as a result of a roundtable in Singapore. We were officially registered as a not-for-profit association in Singapore in 2007. So as of today, we're like officially 14 years of age, I suppose. Our main focus, if I'm really honest about it, is the Southeast Asian, the ASEAN bloc. All right, that's sort of where the main area we've looked at. However, Asia Pacific covers 45 countries, including the US and Russia. So we're not going quite that far. All right. It was actually interesting. I was talking to our membership director earlier today and looking at our membership list, and I see that we've got a membership application from Pakistan. So it's like, oh, okay, interesting. All right, that'll be fantastic if that's all comes to pass. All right, because that would be our first member from that part of the world. But we've got a singular membership structure. So whether you're an individual, a company, or an association, there's a singular membership fee that you pay to join. And so a lot of our members are individuals, but some are companies. But then again, we've got associations who are members, such as the Association Malaysian Spas in Malaysia. So when you look at our membership list and say, well, you know, that's not very big, right? And it's like, well, yeah. In terms of us and our paperwork, we're 100% voluntary organization. So let's keep it simple. All right. So, but things like the Nippon Spa Association is a member and a very active supporter. And it's one of the main reasons that we were actually looking to take our event to Japan this year. But that didn't come to pass for obvious reasons. So we're now looking at 2023 to go to Japan. But our membership covers the full spectrum of obviously product houses, suppliers, consultants, and importantly, operators. So all specters of the industry. And even our network, we don't get too hung up about members in terms of, are you a member? Are you not a member? It's about networking across the industry for the betterment of all. Obviously, there is distinct benefits to members. There's greater advantages to members, but right, we're open to communicating with all.
Which brings me to my next question, actually. What services and support does the APSWC offer its members?
Right, well, I mean, basically we're here to educate, promote, develop and support our members in the growth of the industry. So towards that end, we produce an annual white paper that obviously last year didn't happen because there was no event last year. But we bring together the industry and say, what are the problems? What do we need to do, right? And from our perspective, who needs to do it? Do we need to do it? Do we need third parties to do it? Do we need government to do it, right? What do we need to do? in addition to that, we look at bringing in other elements of industry development. So that's why we've teamed up with the Agriculture and Food Manufacturers Association under the Food and Agricultural Organization affiliated with the United Nations to do the SDG for spa and wellness, which we're rolling out, and you know, to really move the SDGs forward in a big way, right? So that's sort of the key things we're doing. You know, we drive social media and any other educational opportunities that we can.
And in this white paper that you mentioned as the first one, what does that entail? What do you have in that white paper?
Well, the white paper, when we do the round table, right? Because it's not a conference in terms of sit down and talk, right? Every delegate who attends is expected to input something, right? And then there's like table discussions, and the table decides what the key points of discussion are. And then after that, that's all fed back into the big picture. And from that, we take the main points that everybody in attendance agrees that these are the key points. Like, we need more collaboration. We need to explore energy therapies or whatever it is. That's the key point of the delegates. Right.
And which countries are members today of the APSWC?
We've got members from Thailand, Philippines, Singapore, obviously, Australia, Hong Kong, Nepal, Maldives, Japan, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia.
Fantastic.
Right? So,
yeah. Well, yeah, those are many. Those are all the countries. A lot of Africans also travel to, so that's very interesting. And those members are highlighted on your website, or
we know that. Okay, this is something that we haven't done previously. Is we haven't really promoted or highlighted our members as perhaps we could, but as part of the educational opportunities or the promotional opportunities that we're now doing as we revamp our website, there will be more articles coming out which give input into various opportunities and promote various members, not necessarily promoting individually, but promoting in groups as to the type of services they want. So I mean, like within the articles already on our website, we've got about software companies that we're working with, and you know, deals that are available there. We've recently posted an article which is more focused on retail and the virtual retail opportunities that are available that one of our members is offering, right? So, you know, that's all being woven into the articles.
Amazing, amazing. And which of your member countries are the most developed in terms of, you know, the SPA, would you say?
Most developed, Thailand, obviously, right? Thailand. That's where I am. We, you know, it's definitely an advanced market sector here. Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, you know, Hong Kong is very developed, right? So, yeah.
Right. So you have different different tiers for each countries to show. Okay, these have more. Okay.
Well, like as an example, for Vietnam, all right, they're still in terms of spa and wellness. If you go to a spa in Vietnam, chances are you're actually going for a facial. So like 50% of business in a spa in Vietnam will be a facial, right? And they have the facial beds lined up like a factory type thing. It's it's quite amazing to see how they do it. Right, but it's very much facial orientated, or facial dominant, should I say, right? Unlike other countries where it's more body dominated.
Right, okay. So does the APSWC enjoy support from other sponsors or corporate partners or otherwise?
Okay, in theory, yes, right? We do have, but we haven't aggressively sought financial support. because we're aware of what our commitments are, and it's sort of, we fully appreciate it's a catch-22 situation. If we had the support, then there's more we could do. All right, but because we haven't had the time necessarily to pursue that support, it really hasn't come into pass. But we've just had a major European company become a member, so one never knows, right? And oh, sorry, we've got a member in Canada. So I forgot that one. Right, very important, the one in Canada. So okay. It's interesting where we're seeing people come in from these other countries where they're looking to access, what's available in the industry in the Asia Pacific region. So,
and are you allowed to mention
we're quite happy to share that.
Okay, so we will get to know who your members are in Canada and Europe and all. Okay,
yep.
Okay, fantastic.
Over time, yeah.
Over time.
Well, I mean, if you all join the APSWC roundtable, which will be 15 to 17 of March,
yes.
And it'll be at a relatively civilized time for sort of early morning.
Our side of the region, yes.
8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock your time.
Great.
So details of that will be sent out. We're just finalizing the speakers, but for that, we've got 19 this year. We have 19 speakers or presenters and panelists from 10 different countries. Fantastic. So it's going to be a very, very different event to what we would normally run, because we would normally operate on sort of 4 speakers over 2 days. And this year we've got 19 over 3 days.
Brilliant. That sounds like fun. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I would be very, very excited to be part of that. Fingers crossed.
Let the technology work.
Oh yeah.
Pray to the technology gods.
Thank God for pre-records as well. Anyway.
We're only pre-recording some of it.
Okay,
right?
Okay.
A very small amount of it we're pre-recording.
You just had to put that out there. Good. Okay. So is APSWC affiliated to any other international SPA organizations or wellness organizations?
We don't have any formal affiliation, but we openly communicate with people like the Sustainable Spa Association in the UK, the Day Spa Association in the US. Any reports we submit or publish or go onto the Global Wellness website. So, we're open to talking with anybody and communicating in terms of signing a formal agreement of some kind. I mean, honestly, our feeling is it's a waste of time to do that. It's just like keep the communication channels open, let the network flow, and as things come up, right, quite happy to explore accordingly. Right, and we're not worried where in the world they come from. Right? Anything that will grow and develop the industry.
Fantastic. And aside from COVID-19, obviously, what event or trend or incident has that had on your industry in over there, and has it affected the market and
Well, I mean, if you look at historically, obviously the 1997 stock market crash was a major thing in this part of the world, significantly impacted, but it was where suddenly everybody woke up and everybody decided they needed the spa experience, and there was a big boom as a result of that, right? The 2004 tsunami was obviously also another major impacting event. That one probably more negatively, right? Yes, now with other things that have helped the industry, they haven't sort of impacted as one would have thought they would have, such as in 2016 when the ASEAN Spa Services Standard was rolled out by the ASEAN Secretariat. Mm-hmm. That's a standard that's well known within Thailand because Thailand promotes it within the Thai spa community. A lot of the other ASEAN countries, unfortunately, don't promote it as actively, but it's something that we at the APSWC do constantly talk about as a base standard for spas to work with. It's a voluntary standard, right? And yeah, if you pass that standard, and those who pass the top tier, I mean, here in Thailand, the Tourism Authority of Thailand will pump it out big time. They will actively support those who adhere to that standard.
Okay, okay. And what is the largest segment in the industry in Asia? Is it the day spas, the beauty spas, foot spas?
Okay, foot spas. If you go into Malaysia or India, that's where you get big foot spa segments. If you go into the Philippines, you've got a big home spa segment. You go into New Zealand, you've got sort of the hot spring spa segment. But you know, here in Thailand, day spas are big, but it's actually the hotel resort sector, which is the biggest sector, or has been, right? When COVID-19 is all over, we'll see how it all balances out.
Yeah, so right? It's like the country unique USPs, like
yes,
you just mentioned.
Yes. I mean, if you go to Singapore, obviously there very much it is the day spa segment is by far the biggest, right? So yeah, right. And then you know, we've got to deal with the cultural aspects because you know, most countries it's male and female customers go to the same spa, whereas if you go into like Malaysia or Indonesia, it's more likely to be male only or female only. So,
right. Yes. Yes.
Right. So it just depends on where you are, and there is significant variation between the different countries. Right.
Of course.
Cultural identity is very important.
Okay. And who has traditionally been the primary target, you know, market for the spa operators in Asia?
They've always looked predominantly to the foreign tourist, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of them have hurt big time now, and they've had to turn around and say, hey, you know, let's look at the local market, and hey, we do actually have a local market, because there's plenty of locals that want to use these facilities.
Yeah.
But the operators have sort of overlooked the locals, and
also maybe the pricing. Maybe also the pricing. Yeah.
Yeah, they hiked the pricing to cater to the foreign tourist, right? But now they've had to drop their prices to cater to the domestic market, right? And they're paying the penalty accordingly. So, right. Okay. But I mean, it was interesting. A number of years ago, I did a project with the government here in Thailand. I won't say the city, but there was 50 spa operators there, and we went through who is your target market, right? And you know, my target market is Australian or Chinese or, you know, whatever it was. Okay, the whole spectrum of countries and regions they went through. Not one of those 50 mentioned Thai customer.
Wow, right? That's amazing.
So
yeah.
Whereas
I know,
now
yeah.
Complete turnaround now.
Complete, yeah. Same here in Africa. It's completely turned around. Yeah.
Well, by bringing in the local customer and building a loyal customer, right? You know, your marketing, the amount of money you spend on marketing should plummet, right? Because you've got their loyalty. They will come back, right? If you're catering to them, they will come back. Your international tourist comes once a year.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, okay, maybe they come 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week over whatever, but you know, they're ultimately coming one time a year.
Yes.
Right? In terms of your marketing dollars, surely it's better to spend them on local anyway.
So in a way, it's been a sort of positive change, you know, to also give room to local market now.
Well, yes, there's a positive turnaround, and I mean, it's a bit of a wake-up call to say, hey, there actually is a local market.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, why not exploit it? These people want the services that the spa and wellness industry is providing. They're very open to it. So cater to it.
Absolutely. And people should be able to enjoy their local wellness facilities and products and services, you know, so especially when these companies have put that much effort into it, I think it's a good idea for companies to also make sure that the pricing is right for the local market.
Sure. I mean, but it's also a case of educating even the local markets. What are the local or traditional therapies?
Yeah.
Right. You know, here in Thailand, in terms of, you know, everybody knows Thai massage. Who knows about royal Thai massage? Right? So
Yeah.
Not too many people do. And I mean, in total honesty, not too many therapists like to even do royal Thai massage because it's not easy, right? It's a hard therapy to actually perform, right? But you know, when you're dealing with the locals, and you know, specifically in terms of Thai therapies with the toksen, you know, the wooden stick which you hammer away at, you know, when you go into Vietnamese therapies, traditional Vietnamese therapy or traditional Vietnamese massage, there is a little bit of contention as to what that is. Some lean heavily towards the Chinese influence. I was introduced into what was explained to me was traditional Vietnamese massage by Vietnamese people in Vietnam, where they said traditionally Vietnamese massage is done by men for men only, right? Because it's too brutal for women.
Right.
Right? Because honestly, you feel as though you're getting beaten up. Right? So, and it's loud, slapping, banging, right? There's nothing genteel about it, to the point that we actually did a spa in Vietnam, and we actually had to do soundproofing on the walls of that room
because of how loud
because of how noisy it is.
Yeah.
Right?
That's amazing.
So,
that's quite an opposite to the Thai tradition where it's about stretching and the points, the body points.
Yes.
That's that's quite the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and as you go around the region, I mean, you go to like Philippines with your hilot massage, where you're getting wrapped up in bamboo leaves, right? And then you've got the Urutan Malaysia, which is, you know, really being promoted now, which is a combination of therapies. Anyway, they've sort of taken the different elements and to create a traditional or indigenous Malay therapy, right? Which is the Urutan Malaysia. So again, if you attend the APSWC roundtable, we will explain it all there.
Oh, great. So are there any obvious areas in the spa and wellness industry that are underperforming or which have, you know, a glaring business potential?
Currently, in terms of underperforming, the entire industry. In terms of business potential, one could argue the entire industry as well. But in reality, it's those spa operators, you know, by law, we're required to focus on relaxation, right? So that's got to be in, you know, because we can't be health orientated. So even though the spa and wellness industry is on the periphery of the healthcare industry, we cannot be perceived as medical. But it's by taking those relaxing services, right? And instead of talking just about relaxation, it's talking about, you know, doing this improves your sleep, in, you know, and other wellness type elements, and those properties that are starting to promote that and specific benefits beyond just relaxation, they're the ones that are moving forward currently in a big way, right? They're really tapping into the market and saying, and the therapies are basically the same. It's not a case that they're necessarily changing the therapies. Right. They're just changing the wording that they're using to promote those therapies, that it's more than just relaxation, that there are genuine other health benefits that can be achieved by experiencing these therapies.
Fantastic. That sounds exciting. We look forward to hearing more about that. Is there an emerging trend that you see in the spa and wellness industry that you would like to highlight today?
The element of sustainability, and this, I mean, it's become hyper localized as a result of the global pandemic, but it was already being talked about pre that, where the element of sustainability and particularly sustainable tourism was becoming more and more important, right? And to some degree now it's even moved beyond sustainability or sustainable tourism into responsible tourism.
Yeah.
So which again is you know, it's just taking the whole thing another step further. But that is, you know, you can argue and say, well, that's the whole let's go eco trend that's been around for years and they've just remarketed it. And to some degree that's probably the case, but true and genuine sustainability is becoming increasingly important, and it's part of the reason that we, started working on our SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah.
We've been working on that for 18 months already.
And do you have any sustainable spas in Asia today?
They're not that are certified by the APSWC, because we're still sorting out certain elements of that. Right, we've got applications in hand, but they haven't actually been processed. But with organizations such as Green Globe, etc., there are properties around Asia. Six Senses is the obvious one. Most of them are certified, and there's plenty of others that have LEED certification or Green Globe certification, or here in Thailand there's Trees certification, and there's various other green certifications that are out there. All right.
Yeah, the same here. Okay, that's very interesting. We'll I think we're kind of like on the same in that regards, into just stepping into the whole SDG goals in regards to sustainable spas and seeing where that takes us, whether it goes beyond, as you say, to responsible spas. Okay, so if people remember only one thing about spa and wellness in Asia, what would that be?
I would have to say cultural integrity. There is no, because there is such diversity with the countries in the Asia Pacific region, that, each country really is genuinely so different, right? Be it for cultural regions, historical reasons, religious reasons, geographical issues, right? There's some pretty unique things happening, and it's the cultural integrity of the experience, right?
Okay, so, and do you have a message for the spa industry here?
the spa industry in South Africa, or in Africa?
Well, in Africa, yes.
Yeah. Okay. First and foremost, Asia Pacific. We look forward to welcoming everybody from Africa. We look forward to welcoming you to Asia Pacific soon, right? The same as hopefully we can come there and visit you and experience some of your true and authentic offerings, right? It's not about just having Swedish massage and a body scrub and a French facial, right? There's much more to this spa experience, and as a result of the whole sustainability thing and the respect for culture and traditions, which we really need to focus on, I think, right? Because each country does, the nuances between certain countries may not be so great, but please, everybody, stand up and be proud of what you have and promote it accordingly, because the more you, and be true and genuine to what your culture and tradition is. And then I think you will do very, very well. And I'm more than happy to come and visit you.
Oh, we would love to have you, Andrew, and would love to come and visit as well. Thank you so much for that invitation. Thank you so much for today. It was wonderful to hear about the Africa-Asia focus with you here. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Elaine. Great to talk to you.
We got the feeling of wisdom.